Hello, Candice Sanderson, author of The Reluctant Messenger. I wanted to share with you a recent meditation I had at Goddess I Am here in Naples, Florida. This was in June, actually June 12th, 2019. When I went to the meditation, I started seeing this energy around each person. Most people were seated in chairs. There was one person on the floor, but there was this like very gentle swirling of energy just around each person. And then I got a message that talked about, it's the journey, not the destination, that's important. And we all know that adage. I realized this was a message for maybe someone in particular at the meditation, or maybe it was for all of us. But sometimes you might feel that you've gone astray or you're really not on your spiritual path. And I felt like this was a reminder that if you feel like that you've strayed from your path, maybe you really haven't. Maybe that's just a clue for you to slow down, take a very deep breath, and just look around you. Just appreciate the energy, the beauty that surrounds you. Because it really isn't about the destination, but it's enjoying your way on that path. Right after I saw these swirls of energy, I saw this giant lotus blossom, beautiful pink lotus blossom, float into the room, and it just encompassed the entire room. I knew that it had a taproot that was deep below the surface of the water, or actually in this case it was the surface of awareness, and it kept us tethered to it. So we were drifting and swaying back and forth, but we knew we weren't going to go too far because the taproot kept us basically in place. And then, which is sometimes pretty often with my visions that I have, my perspective changed, and I found myself zoomed way back in Earth's atmosphere. And as I looked, I saw that there were, hundreds, probably 1,000 or more of these beautiful lotus blossoms all over the globe. And they too were all just swaying gently back and forth. And I realized that in this meditative state that we were in the meditation we were getting ready to do, we were part of a spiritual community, and we were all swaying with the energy together, but we were unaware. It's kind of like how that taproot keeps us grounded, but it's below the level of awareness. We too are part of this beautiful spiritual network, but we may not be aware of the other components of it. Then the meditation actually began, and Beth Brown started the meditation, and as part of it, she asked us to envision someone in front of us, a being of light of some sort. And I immediately started seeing this kind of shape that would drift back and forth, and I realized it was a male energy. And then for some reason I got the impression, or I had this knowing, that he was a gatekeeper of some sort. And as soon as I recognized that he was a gatekeeper, I had this knowing that he was the one responsible. This is really bizarre, but he was the one responsible for rolling back the big boulder in Jesus's tomb after he was crucified. He was rolling back, that large boulder from the sepulchre. And what happened was he opened this new dimension, so that Christ consciousness, not necessarily Jesus Christ, but something larger than that the Christ consciousness could be felt throughout the world. The next thing that happened is that figure began to morph, And if any of you all have seen Lord of the Rings, it looked just like the eye of Sauron. So this great big eye looked like it was made out of flames. And all of a sudden, I was guided to turn my back toward it. And when I did, I like folded and went through it, almost like going through the eye of a needle. And at this point, once I slipped through, I found myself floating in this beautiful dark abyss of deep space. Just standing still, I had 360-degree vision, and I could see stars close by. I could see galaxies, I could see I could say as far as the eye could see, but it was even much farther than what the human eye could see. And I realized I was in this space of pure potential, of pure peace and tranquility, and that I realized I could tap into this space at will. And then the message came. So let me read the message. This is the true gift of the Magi. Christ consciousness was released to the earth plane when the sepulchre was opened, and that gateway opened for all of us. Did he not say that whoever believes in him will do greater things than he? Now, it always surprises me when I get messages that have such religious overtones. I grew up in the Christian belief, but many years ago, I have, really expanded, and my personal beliefs are much more broad. They're much broader than what religion usually shows us. I have a much more spiritual outlook on life. So when I get ascended masters from specific religions, I'm always, surprised a little. And I know that if I were making this up, certainly wouldn't be an ascended master I would choose. So that actually kind of adds more to the authenticity of it. But with the words of the messenger, and that was precisely what I was feeling as well too, is I realized there is now this portal or other dimension that's open that has allowed for the Christ consciousness to be spread across the world. We are creators of our own lives. And just as I tapped into going through the eye of the needle, or literally the eye of Sauron, I had found myself in this beautiful place of nothing but pure potential. And I realized that, there's certainly nothing special about me where I can do this. If I can do this, others can as well too. When Christ or the other ascended masters came to earth, they didn't leave. They are still with us, but they are in another energy or dimensional state where not everyone yet is able to perceive of them. But the coming of Christ was an event and is an event not really of religion, but of awakening to a consciousness upon our planet. And this consciousness is still living within us, within each person. And if we can learn to settle our minds, really start learning and living from a heart-based energy, we're much more likely to be able to tap into these higher vibrational states. And we can actually learn to live our lives much more fully than we ever have before. We've been shown the way. It's up to us to quit thinking about the destination as much as the journey itself, and settle into the energy that's around us. Appreciate everything that we see, people that we know and that we love. Use your heart-based energy to expand your own awareness so that you can tap into the creative side of yourself, which is actually the creator. So that's all for now. I certainly hope that you enjoyed this. If you want, you can follow me on Facebook. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. You can read the blog, which is much more elegant than my spoken word. I will leave a link to it below in the description. And you can also, connect with me through my website, CandiceSanderson.com. So that's it for now. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. And until next time, goodbye.